Hi, today is September 12th, 2025, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 1415 for the year, Quiet Morning. In the quiet walk to the ferry on deserted streets, the sound of my sneakers hitting the ground like a steady drum beat, the sound of the truck's brakes, whining, pleading, almost screaming, almost jarring, almost beautiful. And as I sit and wait for the boat, the quiet wash of traffic on the FDR, droning, drowning out the nearly still water, as a pigeon pecks at something next to a nearly full garbage can, and the sun begins to rise. Poem number 1416, Some Sort of Success. Her life was much more interesting than his, and he didn't want her to think he was boring, so each day he would make up some interesting thing that didn't happen. He recently told her one evening that he had gone into work that day wearing a sandwich around his neck instead of a necktie, but she accused him of going for the cheap laugh, which he was. A week ago yesterday, he came home soaking wet. He had an elaborate story planned, but she didn't even ask why he was wet, so he said nothing. On Wednesday, on his lunch hour, he got a temporary tattoo, but they haven't had sex since then, and she still hasn't seen it. He wondered constantly whether he made her happy, but the truth was, he made her happier than any man ever had. An admittedly low bar, but still. Poem number 1417, What It All Comes Down To. Whenever it all comes down, it always all comes down to this. It never all comes down to that. I guess sometimes it all comes down to science or faith or fate, and sometimes it doesn't all come down. Sometimes it only partly comes down, and sometimes it just stays up there and doesn't come down at all. So I guess I'm wrong. It doesn't always all come down to this, but it never all comes down to that. Poem number 1418, Sugar Coating. There's no sugar coating it because we're all out of sugar. I suppose it could be honey-coated or drenched in pancake syrup or all out of maple syrup, or we could take it straight and not coat it with anything at all. It all comes down to whether we want an added sweetener of some kind. And look, if you really want me to sugarcoat it, I can go next door and ask to borrow a cup. And the last poem of the day, poem number 1419, Sweetening the Deal. She felt compelled to sweeten the deal, and by the time she had made the counter offer, it was drenched with sugar and syrup and fruit preserves and sucralose. In fact, she had sweetened the deal to such a sickeningly sweet degree that it was entirely unacceptable and was rejected entirely out of hand, which was, of course, her intention all along. All right, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate you.